Mike Levin,
And you're running for which district?
Congressional District 49.
Perfect. So, Congressman Levin, the first question that we have for you today is many residents face challenges in accessing affordable health care, particularly in the context of rising costs and disparities in service available. What measures can be taken to improve access to affordable health care for residents in the district?
Well, I think it is so important that we build on the progress of the Affordable Care Act. We know that in the last number of years since the ACA was put into place, roughly 20 million Americans now have health care. Folks with pre-existing conditions now are covered that previously couldn't get coverage. And the ACA is working, but it still needs improvement. My concern is that there are many people who would try to undermine the ACA without any real replacement. We've heard from former President Trump that he has concepts of a plan, but no real replacement plan. And my principles are very simple. I want to see quality and affordable coverage for everyone, and we have to get the price of prescription drugs further reduced. That's why it was so critically important that we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, where we finally were able to get Medicare to negotiate directly with the big pharmaceutical companies to drive down the cost of 10 of the most common prescription drugs. And we also were able to put in place a $2,000 annual out-of-pocket cap for those on Medicare. I want to make sure we extend that to everyone so that everyone can have that same opportunity to have lower cost prescription drugs like insulin for $35.
Question number 2. What specific policies do you support for comprehensive immigration reform to address the ongoing migrant crisis?
I want to see a comprehensive immigration reform bill done on a bipartisan basis that includes both border security and a path to citizenship for those who are contributing positively to our economy and to our society. I've been focused for the last number of years on trying to advance bipartisan policies, and it's been tough because you have too many politicians on both sides of the aisle interested in placing blame, casting aspersions, pointing fingers instead of delivering results. I did encourage the president to take the action on the border to get the asylum process better in order, and that has been working. The apprehensions in the San Diego region are down 54% from earlier this year, and the rate at which Border Patrol is able to seize fentanyl and human trafficking and potential risk of terrorism has been addressed since that executive action. We've got to codify that, and I think that we can do it. The sad reality was that the most comprehensive bipartisan bill in some time was shot down by Donald Trump and Mike Johnson, and we've got to get back to the negotiating table and get it across the finish line.
Question number 3. What is your position on the level of military and financial support that the U.S. should provide to Israel, especially in light of recent conflicts?
Well, we just had the 1-year anniversary of the October 7th tragedy in Israel, where Hamas brutally killed 1,200 Israelis. Of course, since then, we've had further humanitarian tragedy in Gaza with many civilians killed and Hamas terrorists using civilians, using mosques and schools and hospitals as shields to further their terrorist activity. I want to make sure that we do continue to provide Israel with what they need to defend themselves, but that we also do all we can to advance diplomacy so that this doesn't turn into a larger regional war. I'm very concerned, since the Iranian response, firing hundreds of missiles into Israel on the 1-year anniversary of October 7th. I'm very concerned about a potential response that would further inflame the situation. My hope and my expectation is that cooler heads can prevail and we can begin to get towards a more peaceful resolution for all involved.
Question number 4. As a group of former members of Congress recently called for legislation barring lawmakers from owning or trading individual stocks. There are concerns about members from both parties using non-public information to make large profits. Critics say it's a conflict of interest. Where do you stand on the issue, and will you take action?
I strongly support measures to ban members of Congress from trading individual shares of stock. When I first started running for Congress in 2017, my wife and I divested any individual stock that we had. And it's been really alarming to see members of both parties that have used the information that they gather as members of Congress to line their pockets. We should always, as public servants, aspire to serve the greater good, not our own financial well-being. And that's why it's so important we advance this legislation. I can tell you it has been an uphill climb. There are plenty of people in my party that don't want this either, and we've got to continue to move the ball. It's also important to me that we don't take corporate PAC money. I'm one of roughly 50 members of Congress that refuses corporate campaign contributions. I'm part of the End Corruption Caucus, and we've got many other initiatives in that regard. And we've got to continue to advance campaign finance reform, transparency, and accountability for our public officials.
And the final question that we have is, why should people vote for you?
Well, I've had 5.5 years now of delivering results for our beautiful district, getting 30 bipartisan bills signed into law by both the former president and the current president, many for our veterans. I was honored to be named the 2024 Veterans of Foreign Wars Legislator of the Year, which is an award they give to one member of the House or Senate each year. I'm also honored to have been consistently rated among the top 5% most effective lawmakers by the Nonpartisan Center for Effective Lawmaking. We've been able to get $931 million of our taxpayer money reinvested into our district for our schools, our roads, our bridges, our water systems, and so much more. And we're just getting started, and I'm extremely grateful for the support.